Welcome back to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, we believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, which is why we focus on a simple, habit-based approach. We know that helping your clients become the best and healthiest versions of themselves isn't just about what they eat or coming to the gym a few hours a week. We, as gym owners and coaches, have to focus on a holistic approach, looking at support systems, stress management, sleep, mindset, lifestyle, and of course, exercise and nutrition. I'm your host, Nicole Coyne, registered dietitian and founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, CrossFit HSN, and HSN Mentoring. I'm also the author of The Basics of Nutrition Coaching, CrossFit Preferred Nutrition course. In this podcast, I'm going to teach you how to make one step at a time to becoming the best nutrition coach and building an awesome habit-based coaching program. Today's podcast guest is Stuart Brauer. He has over 15 years of experience in the gym industry, growing gyms, personal training departments. He started his gym, CrossFit South End, that then he rebranded into Urban Movement. He also runs a podcast called WTF Gym Talk. He's a wealth of knowledge. He has a lot of experience. He does some mentoring as well, helping gym owners, all types of gyms. We connected at a conference. I listened to him speak on organic marketing strategies and thought he had some really good ideas that we could share on this podcast episode today. So enjoy this podcast episode with Stuart Brauer. We'll get to this episode right after this message. Have you heard about the Healthy Steps Nutrition Live Workshop? We are hosting a live event in Nashville, Tennessee on September 16th and 17th for gym owners and coaches looking to level up their businesses, looking to become a house of wellness. If you're looking to become a one-stop shop to really help your clients transform their health and their lives through nutrition, health, wellness, and of course, fitness, we would love to see you there. This event is open to the public. We have some amazing speakers related to marketing and doctors coming in talking about how stress and sleep impact health, mental health. We're going to be talking about employee wellness and partnerships, so many amazing topics to help gym owners really transform their businesses into a house of wellness to transform lives inside their community. We'd love to see you there. Make sure that you grab your ticket as soon as possible. We are only selling 200 tickets. I think there are about 50 tickets left. So again, we'd love to see you in Nashville, Tennessee. Click the link in the show notes to grab your ticket today. All right, enjoy this podcast with Stu. Stu, welcome to the Grow Your Nutrition Business podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm excited to chat today. You and I both spoke at an event a couple weeks ago in Nashville with Tim Lyons. Shout out to him. He did such a great job with that event.
Yes, he did.
And you're a previous gym owner and you actually help mentor some gyms now for those of our listeners who don't know you. But one of the things that was super intriguing about your presentation and inspiring gym owners was, hey, let's actually start with guerrilla marketing. Let's start with just putting ourselves out there. And I thought this was such a simple concept that so many gym owners have gone away from. And I wanted to have you on to just talk a little bit about, your experience personally owning the gym and why you really believe that this is such a great way to get gym owners' message out there.
I'm very fortunate, not only from what I do now, but what got me here. And I took some very different routes in gym ownership, quote unquote, than most people do. To summarize it, so at this, everything we talk about today gives people perspective as to why I have maybe a different marketing lens or, conceptual ideas than most. I found CrossFit in 2006 while I was in college. I go work for some CrossFit gyms that are just trying to figure it out. Nobody knew anything business-wise about this micro gym model back in 2006. So then I'm like, all right, well, I know this CrossFit thing's going to be great, but I know nothing about business. Let me go to Globo Gym. So I went from this CrossFit space where I was literally windshield wipers, flyers, walking around business cards at salons, that whole deal. And then I went to Globo Gym where I had a $10,000 a month marketing budget and I had like 7 staff members ready to go. And so I was like, oh, this is interesting. And this is what it's like to go ahead and create a full-fledged campaign with on-site, setting up what we call lead bowls back in the day. There were these fish bowls that you would go to the Subway and the local diner and whatever, and they'd have a little pen and paper, and you would fill your name and email and phone number out. So to win a free year of a gym membership and even personal training, you drop it in there, and then I'd send my staff around to pick up the lead bowls from all the different locations. And nobody ever won. It was the whole point. Like, no, ethically, that wasn't my call. I would have loved if someone won. No one actually ever won. It was lead generation for the club. But again, it was very interesting because this CrossFit thing, it's like, man, if we get 3 people to join this month, we're going out and I'm buying drinks, right? When I was at the CrossFit gym. At the global gym I was at, if we didn't sell 85 new memberships a month at a minimum, you were probably getting fired. Like, that's probably happening. So I come from this different world. And then I left the global gym thing when I had acquired enough information. I opened up my own brick and mortar, and I had CrossFit, and CrossFit was popular and all that. So I kind of got to ride that marketing wave. None of us really had to do a lot of marketing back then, but then I rebranded. I'm like, listen, did I really do this on my own, or did I do this because I had CrossFit? And CrossFit South, it was the name of my affiliate, which is a very trendy, popular area in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I reside. Did I just get lucky? Did I have CrossFit South End, the right name, the right time, all that kind of stuff? Let me redo this. So I redid it, gutted it, got rid of everything, opened up Urban Movement, and nobody knew what that was. So I had to build that brand and that brand's reputation from scratch. I had to market it from scratch. And that's kind of what's led me. And then in 2015, I was pretty removed from the job, the business. So I started a consulting firm, and I started working with gym owners. So like also having the reps of practicing with other people's brands and their marketing and creating tactics and, testing things out that worked and testing things out that didn't always work great. But anyway, that kind of frames up, I think, from a perspective. But to go to answer your question, ultimately, now that the audience kind of brought up to speed, I believe guerrilla marketing is really, and guerrilla is the more aggressive version. I really like organic marketing is the big bucket. Guerrilla marketing is one of the elements inside of organic marketing, but organic is really it, because I don't know if anyone's running any paid ads right now. Since 2020, it's very expensive, more expensive than it ever was, because we do have so many online fitness businesses that popped up in 2020, which just makes that digital marketing lane very crowded. There's a lot of traffic, which means your CPRs, cost per results, your CAC, your client acquisition costs, are all sky high. They're way, way fatter than they were back in 2015 and 2014. So for the average gym, realistically, I tell people, can you spend about $7,000+ per month on marketing? And if their answer is no, I'm like, well, then we're not going to run paid. It really doesn't make sense then if we're going to run paid. So for significantly less than $7,000, we can run organic. And organic is a lot more sweat equity. It will require more time, but if you don't have the money to do it digitally, you've only got one other resource, is time. And generally an owner who, again, they're trying to make this thing work. They're working 60+ hours a week. They've got a staff of some degree. They can leverage the time better than they can. I don't want them taking out a loan to run Facebook ads. So that's kind of where the initial thesis for why I prefer organic marketing for the average micro gym or boutique studio comes from.
It makes complete sense. And at the end of the day, if you aren't doing any type of organic marketing, sharing your story, posting content, getting your message out there, when you do paid advertising and you don't have anything showing your brand and how you help people, people are going to go find someone else, right? Like, just because there's a paid ad doesn't mean that you don't have to take into account all of these things, because at the end of the day, people buy from people.
Yeah, I'm a big tactics guy. So here's a great tactic for everyone listening right off the bat. So everyone's familiar, hopefully, with like Business Manager. It was Facebook Business Manager, which is free. If you have a Facebook business page and an Instagram business account, you have this. It's now called Meta Business Manager. You might have to search that a little bit differently, but you log into that and you're able to get the insights of your organic post on both Facebook and Instagram. Well, if you do organic marketing well, meaning you have the right creative, video or photo, or some type of image, maybe a graphic you made on Canva, and the right copy, you can go and look over the course of the past 60, 90 days, which of my organic posts have done the best. It'll literally show you. It'll show you the number of impressions it got, right? How many eyeballs got on this thing. And it'll show you the amount of engagement, how many people commented, or shared. If you go to Instagram, it'll let you see saves. If you're really into like carousels and educational content, like 7 ways to do X, where people save that so they could come and reference it later. And you're able to see, cool, what of my organic content is actually rocking out without any money behind it? And once you do that, I tell people take some winners out of the past 30 to maybe 75 days, take a couple winners, run them again.
Yeah.
Post it again.
Yeah.
Now let those ones battle it out. What are the winners that had repeat performances? Now throw some money on it. Now you're taking a fire. It's already in existence. It already smokes. Pour a little kerosene on that. Put $30 a day behind it, $20 a day behind it. Run it for 10 days. You will know instantly. 10 days is the smallest window that I recommend to people to put cash behind an ad campaign for them to get an idea. Is this doing its thing? Very few campaigns for the micro gym owner. I've done this with bigger companies and this would not apply, but for the micro gym owner, very few campaigns that you're going to run are not going to show you some kind of a KPI, positive or negative, within 10 days. And if it doesn't do its thing and it's performing poorly, yank it, it's dead, go on to the next and rinse and repeat that until you find one that works.
I love that idea. And I think it's super valuable for gym owners to at least understand, like, what is your audience connecting with? Post more of those types of things. One of the things that you mentioned when you were speaking is this idea of a photo shoot. And I think so many gym owners, especially in the CrossFit space, will take pictures of like people doing muscle ups or snatches or like heavy deadlifts and like all these crazy things that the ideal person that you would want to walk into your gym would be super intimidated by those things. And you had said like, all right, listen, this is what you need to do. I don't remember exact formula, so you'll have to share it here, but basically something like get 150 photos of smiley, happy people in a photo shoot, not in the middle of Murph or in the middle of a crazy workout, and use those pictures to promote your business.
100%. I'll ask a gym owner, I'm like, hey, have you ever yeah, our social media needs work. I'm like, you're right about that. Let's ask a question. Have you, when was the last time you did a photo shoot? Like, well, we have a coach and we have a nice camera. And this coach, when he or she is not coaching, they snap photos. I'm like, that's great. That's like what we call in content creation, we call that run and gun, right? I'm just capturing what I can. Unfortunately, the truth is, as beautiful as our members are, nobody's that beautiful in round 4 of 8, with sweat dripping down their face is beet red, maybe a little drool coming out of the corner of their mouth. It's just not a pretty image. We're not going to get what we really want. And there are some great photographers that can do in-class run and gun and they crush it, but it's a high skill set. So I just always recommend, let's make this easy on us. Schedule a photo shoot. Now, you had mentioned it there. A lot of times gym owners want to portray and put on spotlight, look at what I've created. Look at how awesomely fit this person is. And I helped create this person, this specimen. Unfortunately, though, you got to think about who you're advertising to. When that person first came in 3 years ago, were they awesome? They were this awesome fit specimen. They were not. And had you shown that person a photo of someone who was 3 years down the road, an awesomely fit specimen, it might have intimidated them and been like, ooh, I'm not that yet. I can't join here. How many of you guys listening that have some kind of a strength and conditioning or barbell-based strength and conditioning micro gym have heard, I just don't think I'm fit enough to join, or I was really intimidated, or I would have joined 2 years ago, but I wasn't in shape yet. I needed to get in shape before I came in here. Mm-hmm. Well, let's fix that. Let's take photos, not of the clients we'll create, but of the prospects we're going to help first. Okay. The people, like, I don't want you to have the fittest of the fit in your photo shoot. I don't want you to have the fattest of the fat. I want you to have dead in the middle. I want you to have, it's really, most micro gyms are 60% average person. 20% on the high end, super fit. 20% on the, maybe the deconditioned, like training age of 0, they're just getting started type scenario. But most often or not, you got this good 60% bell curve where most people look fit-ish. And if that's who you're trying to attract, that's who should be in the photo shoot. So you only invite them. If you skew more male or female, invite slightly more male or female to this photo shoot. Conduct it on a Saturday or Sunday after your last class. And I generally recommend 10 to 15 clients. You get your photographer come in and you tell your photographer, I need you to capture 150 images. So if we have 10 people, get 15 of each. If we have 15 people, get 10 images of each. Doesn't matter. And your goal is to do a couple things. Number one, capture moments over movements, smiles, high fives, fist bumps, like people enjoying themselves, not PRs, right? The phrase like is LOLs over PRs. That makes for great marketing, because most people, again, whether you have intimidating fitness or not, they're intimidated to fitness. They're just intimidated to walk in. It's the number one reason for any of the guys listening to this podcast. Why haven't you jumped into a yoga class Like when your friend who does yoga asked you, or your wife who does yoga asked you. Why? Because you were embarrassed of walking in there, not know how to hit warrior 3 and losing your balance and farting mid position, or not knowing what you're going to do. You're worried about embarrassing yourself.
Yeah.
That's exactly how all the people who haven't signed up at your gym yet probably feel. They're concerned about coming in and embarrassing themselves. The goal is we want to be able to highlight people having fun, looking reassured, looking confident, not looking strong. That's not what the market at that level. That's not the marketing that they need at that point. So moments over movements, LOLs over PRs. And then I want you to show inclusive movements, the movements in your fitness repertoire, your unique belief in fitness, the methodology you utilize that are inclusive and that would allow someone to say, hey, I think I can do that. Mm-hmm. And then look at the person in the photo. Hey, they kind of look like me. I don't know if she can do that. I can do that. And then finally showing the coach to member relationship, getting really good tactile cues in the photo shoot, right? Pushing, Sally's knees out and putting your finger between John's scapula as he squeezes back on the ring rose, whatever it may be. That is how we create really good, authentic looking photos that are going to just a picture's worth 1,000 words, which is BS, by the way, which we'll talk about in a second. But a picture's worth 1,000 words. So let's just create an image that someone can see and it's like, oh, that looks like somebody I can relate to, and they look like they're doing something I can potentially do. And now I'm interested.
I think that's super helpful for so many gym owners. And that, you post those on social media, but also putting them on like your Google My Business account, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I remember looking at my Google My Business account and it was muscle ups and snatches and deadlifts. I'm like, every single one of my ideal clients would be scared of this. I hadn't posted any pictures on there for years. And I think so many gym owners are in the same place. So we're so worried about Instagram and all these places. Where are people going though to find out about your business? Probably Google.
Yes, nobody has ever in the history of ever been like, you know what? I think I'm going to join a gym. Let me see what's available on Instagram.
Right.
That's never happened. That's the nice thing about GBL, your Google business listing, for everyone not familiar, is not only just where you have your maps location and people leave reviews, but just some real quick homework. Google will reward you the more you play with its features, and GBL has a lot of features. So for anyone listening to this, go back. I don't care if the review is or like the review you got on your pay on the GBL listing is 7 years old. Go back and respond to every single review you've ever received and every single one you get going forward. Number 2, text message 5 clients every week asking them, I would love for you to do me a huge favor and share your fitness story. Here's the link. Out of 5, 1 to 2 will do it, which means you're going to follow up with the remainder the following week because the rest want to. They just got busy, right? We're all busy people. But just keep doing that every week. 5, keep pumping. And 1 and 2 will drop per week. And before you know it, you're up to triple digits. And it is clear, like they've done the studies on this. If you can get triple digit or higher positive Google reviews on your page, your ranking just soars above the rest because most of your competitors are not putting in the time and effort here. And then finally, just like Nicole said, upload videos and photos once a month. Do a dump of new photos into your GBL. All right. And then you will see at the very top, you go in the GBL, it has a big menu on the left. Click on post. Everyone's like, what's post? Post is where they allow you to create offers. You're able to create free offers on your GBL. Free. Doesn't cost you a dime. And allows you to advertise whatever you want. You get to put in a link in there for your landing page or whatever you got going on. And they pop up right there on your GBL listing. It's phenomenal. I mean, it was one of the highest acquisition sources for my micro gyms in my, my tenured career.
That's so many great nuggets there. I love all of those. So we need to focus on getting the photo shoot. Then we need to use those photo shoot and put it on GBL, asking people for Google reviews. I actually did this last week with a gym that's going through training. They have a huge gym and had 2 Google reviews. I'm like, your goal by the next time we talk today, I talked to them this morning. I'm like, at least get 15 Google reviews. Like just go ask the people. They had 28 today. So they went from 2 to 28. I'm like, amazing. This is great. Now we have to keep it up.
Set up an iPad. It's honestly set up an iPad right there. Just pull up your GBL listing, like not your login, but like how people see it in the public. In just like, hey, could you write us a review? Listen, free fit aid review.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I was just going to say, like, give them a fit aid. Like, what does that cost?
It'll take them a couple minutes, and it works really well.
Yeah, I love that advice. All right. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is something that my husband and I actually had many conversations about after your talk is the local events that you talked about. You gave a few different examples, and I don't mean hosting in a huge event at your gym, mean like going out and doing something. Talk to me a little bit about the why behind it and what gym owners could do.
Marketing was so foreign to so many of us in the beginning, especially for the CrossFit, which Nicole, just remind me, that's a lot of your clientele list. That's our people listening to this, right? Boutique, CrossFit kind of space. Mm-hmm. If you're in the CrossFit space, you got really lucky between the years of 2009 and about 2014, 15. Just the name in and of itself was just popping. And so marketing really wasn't as big of a thing. But like all good marketing drops out. It hits a high and then it never really comes back. And then you got to come up with the next thing. So with that being said, the marketing kind of dropped out for CrossFit, and a couple guys hit the scene, the Alex Hormozzi's of the world, the Jim, these 6-week challenge marketing companies. And they had, and this is no disrespect to Alex, they had like intermediate understanding of running Facebook ads, or at least the what they carried over to the gyms was just very basic strategy stuff. This wasn't even anything crazy, but it was the first time gyms did it at scale. We're talking tens of 20s of thousands of gyms across the US doing Facebook pixel to landing page, lead convert, all this stuff, funnels, click funnels, all that. And it worked. It worked really, really well. I mean, people are acquiring 30, 40, 50, 60 clients a month. And we all know that's a bad thing to have happen. It's not good for business. There's so many issues with that. But from a marketing standpoint, this was new age. Well, guess what? Again, the cost of marketing, as I mentioned earlier, has skyrocketed. You cannot do what they did back then now. It does not exist. It's not even present by any stretch of the imagination. So what's left? Well, organic marketing, like we talked about with the digital, but what else is left? Well, if you stay within your 4 walls and you get the 150 photos and you do your GBL and you get great copywriting, you get great creative videos, what's left? Getting outside those 4 walls. You have to be hyper locally relevant, meaning you wear your shirt's hoodie into the grocery store on a Monday morning, into a coffee spot Monday afternoon, and then into the local microbrewery on Monday evening. If not one person in the entire city or in those tier 3 places recognizes you or comes like, oh, hey, my brother works out there, or whatever it may be, you're not hyper locally relevant. And you need to be. That's all you need to be. You need a couple hundred people and that's it. So these events is my idea of getting gyms outside. It's what everyone did pre-digital marketing. And if you ever look, I do a lot of work with big and franchises. So you look at Orange Theory, you know how much marketing dollars they have? They have a lot. Yet still during pre-sale and throughout the year, they still host an abnormal amount of offsite events. They're going to breweries and doing pop-up workouts. They're going to apartment complexes and doing, sponsored brunches where they bring food and beverage. They're going to salons and doing burpees and blowouts, right? They're going to local parks and doing free pop-up workouts. And so I created a whole series of events and strategies in place that I did with Urban. My micro gym Urban Movement before I retired was, 90 plus leads a month off of organic and mainly events. And those events we were doing one a weekend at a minimum. And we were doing pop-up workout here, shop and sip at Lululemon, whatever it may be. Because what's the common denominator when you do an event? Here's what I guarantee. It'll take the most time. I love Tim and the guys like Tim that do a lot of the marketing stuff, and Tim does a great job of it. But those guys their thing is, well, pay the money and do the digital marketing. I'm saying that's great, but at some point you're going to have to do the offsite stuff as well. And the offsite stuff takes a lot of work. And there's a lot of people just don't want to do it. They don't want, they coach during the week or they work at the gym, and Saturdays, after that last class that Saturday morning, like, man, it's my weekend now. Not me. No, I'm closing up that gym. I'm grabbing some lunch, and then I'm going to Lululemon to do a shop and sip, or I'm going to the local farmer's market to set up, because I get to meet people in the flesh that I know have the same socioeconomic status elements. You're shopping at Lululemon, you can afford my $200 a month gym membership.
Right.
I know that they're into fitness. Like I do the hangover breakfasts at apartment complexes. I pour mimosas and I give people breakfast sandwiches or whatever we got. It's free. They don't have to sign up for anything, but allows me to talk with people. Hey, I'm Stu from Urban Movement. Yeah, we're setting up this hangover breakfast on Sunday morning. Come on down, get yourself some breakfast, mimosa, coffee, water, whatever you'd like. For free? Yeah, for free. What's the catch? No catch. I own the brand new gym down the street, and I just figured it'd be a good idea to start fattening you guys up. So then I try to get you to come into the gym for a free week, right? And I'd make a joke. And now I'm able to schmooze and talk shop while people are sitting there, and I'm playing bartender like Tom Cruise in Cocktail, and I'm making mimosas, slinging them left and right, but I'm having to have engaging conversations with people. And I'd have my iPad set up and be like, so what's with the gym? Oh, okay, let me talk to you about it. Right? We have a free week. You just throw your name, email, and phone number in the iPad, and we'd love to have you come on in this weekend. We could work off those mimosas or whatever, or just show you the gym, or have you try out a free week, whatever it may be. They're warm. They met me. Like, I know where they're at. They're not some random lead that I keep calling back. Anyone listening to this who's ever done like paid Facebook ads, a lead literally comes in and you're like, okay, I'm going to get on it right now. 30 seconds later, I've called. And you're like, who is this? You're like, yep. Stu from Urban Movement. You literally just filled out a lead form and like, I've never heard of you. Click. And you're just right. Like, what? It's none of that. And at the best case or the worst case scenario, they never join. They never give you $1. But if when they hear like your name or they see it, like, oh yeah, I met the guy. He was at my apartment complex, like pouring drinks and stuff. And he was telling me about his gym. I met them. They were cool. Damn, that's got so much value to it.
There's so many reasons why this could be a good investment of your time. Number one, it's super intimidating to go to a gym if you're out of shape, right? So now you're getting out of this gym in a more neutral environment where people feel a little bit more comfortable. So doing something out like Lululemon, you're right about attracting the people that can afford your business if you're targeting the places that are, attracting those types of clients that you could potentially join your gym. I think this is a really good strategy. Doing something every weekend, to me, we haven't done one of these in a really long time. We did this type of stuff when we first opened up our gym 8 years ago, but we haven't done this in forever. Doing something every weekend seems a little bit intimidating. What would you say to a gym owner that's like, I have never even thought about this?
Sure.
What's the first step?
So step one, get your first one. It'll probably take you 1 month to book even one offsite event, because you're talking about working with another locally small business. So let's say, for example, you have a microbrewery in your area. The first step you do is, okay, I've got a list of the microbreweries in my area that my customers and prospects go to. Again, it has to match your customer avatar profile. Okay. If you're the $42 a month gym, don't go to Lululemon. It's probably not a carryover there. Okay. It's not that same socioeconomic client. But okay, microbrewery, I've got my list, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to DM, I'm going to email through the website, and then I'm going to walk in. And when I walk in, I'm going to go, hey, my name's Stu. I own Urban Movement, the new gym down the street. And just kind of curious, by the way, I love your guys' beer. I was here all weekend, drank a little too much of it, but it's delicious. But question, what's your slowest day in the tap room? Like, what's your slowest day here? The guy's like, dude, Tuesdays are just dead. I think it's because everyone, had their Sunday fun day or whatever it is. But like, I don't know. We're thinking of maybe doing trivia. We're trying to drum us into this. How about this? What if I did a pop-up workout here one Tuesday a month, and we went ahead and advertised it. You advertise it to your people on social. I'll advertise it to my people. We'll get some good flyers and stuff around so people know. And it literally is a free workout, essentially free, but it's $5 to come in. That $5 gets you the workout and a beer here at the tap room. I'm not trying to make any money off this, to be honest with you. We're trying to get our brand name out. So I'm willing to bring in my staff in here, conduct a 1 hour long workout. People have to fill out the waiver. Cha-ching. There's your value. You're getting the lead. Okay. You're getting the lead information of anyone who attends. They pay $5 to the brewery. Now the brewery's happy. They made money. They got more people in the tap room. Guess what they're going to ask you to do? You can come back again, right? You come back in 4 weeks. Can you come back next? And so that's slowly how I do. So cool. I got this brewery the fourth Tuesday of every month. Do it at another one. Oh, I've got this brewery the third Tuesday of every month. Oh, I've got this, I've got Lululemon every 8 weeks here. Oh, this one park. Like, you slowly add to the schedule. It will take you months and months to get to a 1 time a week schedule. But that's what I want that's where I also want to push you guys to aim for type events. And you and me both, I think we're on the same page. We're both very busy people, just like every gym owner listening to this. Our time is valuable. Stu, okay, I went and did your hangover breakfast. I did your shop and sip. I did the boot camp, whatever. I got 6 leads, man. Not really worth it. Well, no, not yet. You're right. It could be worth it, not worth it at all. But if you got 6 leads and you do decent, and let's say you're $200 a month, and you're good at lead nurture and follow up and sales, let's say you close 50% of the 6. Let's say you get down to 3 times 200 just in your first month. That is $600 in point of sale cash. $600 for 2 hours of your time, homie. You got overpaid. You did. You got overpaid for what your hourly is probably worth. It actually is. Let's say, dude, 6 leads, Stu. I only closed 1. Okay. So again, you were there for 2 to 3 hours. 1, even in the first month, that's 200. In the second month, that's now 4. You guys get how lifetime client value works. Like it has great long tail ROI. Even when I've had someone get 0 sales from the event, but they got 8 leads, 12 leads, whatever. It's good for branding. There's 3 stages of the buying process, kids. There's awareness. The customer must be aware you exist before they buy from you. Then there's consideration. This is when they're checking out your Insta and your website and, just kind of doing some research in the area when they're ready to join a gym. And then there's actual purchase, right? You do all the right things. You market, you lead nurture, you sell, all that. Awareness is the number one. It's like when I think of, man, gym owners need more clients. Okay, I'd agree with that. We need more marketing. You need more brand awareness. That's step 1. That's like, I need a girlfriend. I need to go buy more engagement rings. No. You need to go on more dates, homie. You need to create more profiles in Tinder, Hinge, and whatever else, and Bumble. Like you need brand awareness.
Absolutely. I think that's a really great point in regards to, hey, don't just look at the amount of sales that you get right now. You have to follow up with these people, but put them in email campaigns, follow up with them, invite them to the next one, and slowly build that relationship with people. I think it's another cool idea too. If you're doing these pop-up events, ask your members to bring a coworker or a friend who has probably been intimidated to come to your gym, but they would go to like Lululemon and do a sip. And then again, you're meeting people and they're connecting with you and realizing you're not the scary person. You're this person that's just going to help them. And now you're slowly building that relationship.
Nicole, one of the best things I ever heard, and it was maybe about a year or so before I sunned everything down with Urban. I was at there's one of my favorite Irish bars here in Charlotte. I was there, and someone came up to me, and I had an Urban Movement hat on. It's backwards, kind of like what I'm wearing now. And oh yeah, you go to Urban Movement, and I'm just like, yeah. He goes, man, I see those guys everywhere. He has no idea who I am, right? He's like, I see them everywhere. And in the back of my head, there was just this little mini version of me like, yes. Like, that's what I want. Like, that's what I've worked so hard for, is for be hyper locally relevant. That's it. And the cool thing is, for everyone who's a business owner and owns a gym, you know that feeling of cool you get when you walk around your gym and you're the mayor and you're like, look what I've made. Like, this is like, everyone knows who I am. These are my people. I'm here to take care of them. I truly care. Do you know how awesome it was for me to walk into this coffee shop or go by that apartment complex or be at that Lululemon or that microbrewery? Everyone knew who I was, because I had taken 2 years to go ahead and create the relationships B2B to have these events, right? My buddy's having a bachelor party. I've got 6 microbreweries I can call on, because they'll give me a half a pony keg in a heartbeat, because they're like, oh, Stu's the guy that brings down does the boot camp or workouts outside of our place on Tuesdays. I'm friends looking for an apartment complex. I can be like, oh, check out these guys. I do an event with them. Like, it's so awesome as a local small business owner. You get so much pride in those events, not in the micro of what they generated in leads and was it worth my time and I had to carry all this A-frame side, but in the macro, like people getting to know you for what you've done, that legacy element, that like years. And I'm like, oh man, I met that guy. He did a thing at my our apartment complex pool. They hosted, they sponsored a pool party, which is another great, awesome guerrilla way to go ahead and do sponsor pool parties at the apartment complexes during the summer. Pay for some branded cups, pay for some branded sunshades, brand whatever. We found a DJ. You get a DJ, be like, hey, I'm going to do 10 of these this summer. What will you give me? What kind of discounted rate? DJ gives you $175 an hour rate. You book them for 2 hours. You sponsor a pool party brought to you by Urban Movement. Because guess what? At the pool party, this device is out and everyone's on a story or a TikTok or whatever. And guess what they got in their hands? Cups that say Urban Movement, beer pong balls that say Urban Movement, shades that say Urban Movement. Like, there's a lot of cool guerrilla marketing strategies out there. It's just about being creative.
Absolutely. I love it. So many amazing tips. I feel like people are going to have to go back and listen to this podcast again to catch all of the awesome tips that you mentioned. As we wrap up, any final thoughts for gym owners who are thinking like, man, I haven't done any of this?
Yeah. Well, the good news is it's never too late. And what I'd say is you have to be a couple of things. Number one, you have to be resilient to know. Unfortunately, a lot of gym owners have not built thick skin to know. And they might be listening like, nah, people tell us no all the time inside the gym. I get that. They came into your Thunderdome. They came into your house, tried your thing out and said, no, trust me, that hurts far, far less than you going to an apartment complex and trying to put on a hangover breakfast or a brunch or whatever, and them saying no. Like if you've ever been in B2B sales, you'll cling to this great. You will actually do very, very well in this. You've ever done like door-to-door sales. However, you haven't, like, again, make a list of all the local businesses that you can do this with. And I've literally, there's a video I put out. It's for free. It's on the YouTube channel. It's just called, put in WTF Gym Talk Show, Guerrilla Marketing. I've got like a 30-minute video going through all the different ones I've did with my gym, Urban Movement. And you'll see, man, it takes a lot of resilience because you're going to come up with a list of probably 20 local businesses. 6 are going to say maybe, 3 are going to say yes. And it's so defeating. But guess what? After you got 3 off the ground and you've done well, I promise you, you call back everyone else and you send over some media of, hey, this was the event I did with this company and this brewery and this salon. A couple more trickle in, like, oh, okay, yeah. Because they just didn't believe you because you had never done it before, right? Always act as if. But yeah, you just got to have some resiliency, guys. The B2B part is the thing that really drains an owner because they're so exhausted inside their 4 walls. Yeah. Them wrapping their head like, and now on Saturday, I have to go outside my 4 walls. I'm like, yeah, becoming a millionaire is not easy. So you've got your options. You can hang out and do as you've been doing, or if you want to see something change, you could do something you haven't been doing.
Right. And I think another cool thing that you could do is after you make that list, see, do you have any connections with people that are on that list? Like getting an introduction for us has always been the easiest strategy because it's easy to tell someone you don't know, no, but if someone introduces you to a person that's a decision maker, they're going to give you the time of day.
All of our lunch and learns, that's our corporate wellness kind of pitch, guerrilla marketing, kind of organic marketing we've done, all came from in-house with members.
Yep, absolutely. Awesome. Well, where can people, and warning, if you follow Stu, he has a bit of a mouth.
This was what Nicole's trying to say is today was about more of the PG version. Guys, if anyone's looking to find me, just Google WTF Gym Talk, and that'll take you anywhere and everywhere that I create content, podcast, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. It is definitely a little bit more aggressive, no BS, little comedic relief to a kind of scenario. But if you're okay with a couple F-bombs, sparsed in there every now and then, I think you'll get a lot of information, a ton of information out of it. But Nicole, I appreciate you so much for having me on today and giving me your time, the time of your audience. I greatly appreciate it.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
I hope you enjoyed that episode with Stu. At the end of the day, as small business owners, we have to be intentional with how we're getting ourselves out in the community. We need a lot of people talking about us. Setting up partnerships and getting connected in your community is a really great strategy. Go to coffee. You make a list of where your ideal clients shop, where they hang out. See if you can grab a coffee with a manager, an owner, and just start making those connections. I will say one thing about partnerships is being intentional with fostering that partnership. You can't just do one thing one time and expect a major return. We have to continually get in front of people. Remember, people have to hear things 7 to 8 times before they take action, which means you need to have a consistent presence with the places that you want to partner with. I personally would rather have some really solid partnerships where we're doing things intentionally on a regular cadence instead of a bunch of things that we just do one time and people hear about us one time. I hope this helps. Please don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a review so that this podcast can reach more people. We'll see you back here next week.